Hello and welcome. The movie begins, as all good stories do, with a narration about a faraway place. We are introduced to a magical realm called Storyland. It was once a place of pure happiness and light, home to a beautiful princess. However, the narrator reveals a dark secret. One day, a young girl from the real world, our world, discovered a secret door that connected the Earth to Storyland. She stepped through the portal and vanished, never to be seen again. From that day on, the magic in Storyland began to change, and darkness started to creep in. Fast forward many years later to the real world. A woman and her young son, Brandon, are packing up their life, preparing to move away. She believes that her husband, a soldier, has died in the war, and she is trying to start over. As they are loading their car, a high-ranking Air Force officer approaches them. He offers his condolences and wishes them good luck. He looks at young Brandon and tells him, "Take care of your mother, son." But Brandon looks back with defiance in his eyes. He tells the officer, "My dad isn't dead. He's coming back." Brandon refuses to give up hope, even when the adults have accepted the tragedy. After that, mother and son drive to their new home, a place where they hope to rebuild their lives. It is a massive, creaky old house that looks like it hasn't been touched in decades. Inside, the rooms are covered in thick layers of dust and heavy spiderwebs. As they explore the dark corners of the house, they are startled by the arrival of Brandon's uncle, Monty. Uncle Monty is an eccentric character who has been looking after the property. He welcomes them warmly, trying to cheer them up. Monty sees that Brandon is bored and sad, so he decides to share a secret. He tells Brandon that this house is special. He tells about a hidden attic and a magical door that connects the real world to a fantasy world. Brandon, filled with curiosity and a desire to escape his sad reality, immediately goes to investigate. In the dusty attic, Brandon finds an ancient, glowing book. Driven by the stories his uncle told him, he opens the book. Suddenly, the room is filled with light. A magical portal opens up, pulling Brandon in. In an instant, he leaves the dusty attic behind and falls into the vibrant, colorful, and dangerous world of Storyland. But Storyland is not the paradise Brandon might have imagined. He has arrived during a dark time. Unknown to him, his arrival was foretold. He is part of a prophecy. In a dark castle, the evil Queen Avelia rules the land with an iron fist. She learns that a boy from the other world has arrived. She knows the prophecy says this boy will bring about her downfall. Furious, she turns to her wicked advisor, a human snake. Hybrid, she orders him to get rid of the boy immediately. The snake advisor summons a swarm of vicious rats to hunt Brandon down. Back in the forest, Brandon is confused by his new surroundings. He isn't alone, though. His faithful dog has come with him. While exploring, his dog slips and falls onto a dangerous ledge over a cliff. Brandon rushes to save his pet, but he is cornered. The swarm of evil rats descends upon him, ready to attack. Just as things look hopeless, a local hero appears. His name is Woody, a rugged woodsman who lives in the forest. Woody jumps into action, pulling Brandon and the dog out of a trap and saving them from the rats. Woody takes Brandon to safety and asks him a simple question. "How are you going to get back?" Brandon doesn't know. He shows Woody the book that brought him here. Woody admits he cannot read, so he asks Brandon to read the story aloud. As Brandon reads the text, they both realize that the book isn't just a story. It is the actual history of Woody's world. The book reveals the tragic past of Storyland. The kingdom was once peaceful, ruled by a good king and queen. But the queen had a jealous sister, Avelia. Avelia poisoned the king and queen to seize the throne. Since then, the land has suffered under her evil rule. The story continues to the present day. It says that, after seizing power, Queen Avelia began searching for the one thing that could destroy her. A magical sword. The prophecy states that a stranger from another world will find this sword and give it to the rightful heir, Prince Arthur, allowing him to defeat the queen. Woody stares at Brandon. He realizes that Brandon is the stranger from the prophecy. Brandon just wants to go home, but he realizes that the only way to open the portal back to his mother is to finish the story. He agrees to help Woody find the sword and save Prince Arthur. Back at the castle, Queen Avelia is interrogating the imprisoned Prince Arthur. She is desperate to find the sword's location. Then she receives bad news. The rats failed to kill the boy. She is now angry about her rats aren't come back. The minion nervously explains that the rats failed, so he sent cats to catch the rats. But it was a disaster, because the queen ordered to give cheese to the rats, not the cats. The queen is furious at his incompetence. She decides to escalate the violence. She orders the snake to release the wolf creature's savage, magical dogs to hunt Brandon down. In the forest, Brandon and Woody are attacked by these terrifying beasts, but Woody knows their weakness. He lights a torch and uses fire to scare the creatures away, saving them once again. After the attack, Brandon is shaken. He tells Woody he is scared and just wants to see his mom. Woody promises that if they free Prince Arthur, the prince will use the sword to send Brandon home. They set off the next morning to find the sword. Their journey takes them across rivers and over mountains until they reach a mysterious cave. Guarding the entrance is a strange creature named Pouch. Pouch looks like a giant kangaroo. When they arrive, Pouch is busy boxing with his own shadow, completely distracted. Woody and Brandon use this distraction to their advantage. They sneak up behind Pouch, throw a net over him, and toss him into a nearby ditch. After Pouch surrenders, they pull him out and introduce themselves. Pouch is skeptical. He looks at Brandon, a small, young boy, and says, "There is no way this kid is the hero from the prophecy." But when they show him the book, Pouch agrees to take them inside. Pouch leads them deep into the cave to meet the guardian of the sword. They expect a powerful warrior, but instead they meet an old wizard. The wizard is extremely old and has become senile. He acts like a child, eager to show off silly magic tricks instead of answering their questions. Woody and Pouch grow impatient with the wizard's antics, but the wizard insists on testing Brandon. He asks Brandon a series of riddles to prove he is the chosen one. Luckily, Brandon is smart and answers every question correctly. Brandon asks for the sword. The wizard giggles and says he doesn't have it. Instead, he hands Brandon a magical glowing stone. Brandon understands what to do. He places the stone into the socket of his book. Immediately, the book activates a teleportation spell. In a flash of light, Brandon, Woody, and Pouch are transported to the real location of the sword. The queen, watching through her magic crystal ball, sees everything. At first, she thought Brandon was just a harmless child, but now that he is close to the sword, she realizes he is a genuine threat. However, she also smiles. She has been looking for the sword for years. If the boy finds it, she can simply take it from him. Brandon's group arrives in a magical glade, where a wise owl greets them. The owl points to a stone with a magnificent sword stuck in it. Woody, the strongest of the group, tries to pull it out. He pulls and pulls, but it won't budge. Pouch tries next, using his boxing muscles, but fails. Finally, young Brandon steps up. With ease, he slides the sword out of the stone. He holds the weapon that can kill the queen. The queen sees this vision and rushes to tell the imprisoned Prince Arthur. She gloats, telling him that she will soon have the sword and ultimate power. Brandon, Woody, and Pouch head toward the castle to deliver the sword to Prince Arthur. Along the way, they are stopped by a group of local children. After Brandon explains their mission, the children agree to help. They know a secret way into the palace. They sneak into the castle courtyard to create a distraction. Woody and Pouch jump out and challenge the queen's guards to a fight. While the guards are busy, Brandon sneaks toward the execution square. He sees a figure, dressed in black, about to be beheaded by a guillotine. He thinks it is Prince Arthur. So, Brandon gives magical sword to the figure, hoping to save him. but it is a trap. The figure throws off the black cloak. It isn't Arthur, it is Queen Avelia. She got the sword and laughs. She tricked Brandon into giving her the one weapon that could stop her. She immediately orders her guards to throw Brandon, Woody, and Pouch into the dungeon. In the dungeon, they find the real Prince Arthur. Hope seems lost. The Queen has the sword, and the heroes are locked up, but they forgot about the animals. Brandon's dog and the wise owl have managed to evade capture. The wise owl flies to the guard station and distracted the guards, and Brandon's dog steals the keys. Then the dog brings the keys to the cell. They unlock the door and escape. They know they have to act fast. They create a chaotic distraction to confuse the guards, knocking them out one by one. They rush to the Queen's throne room. Inside, Queen Avelia is celebrating. She believes she is now invincible. She waves the sword around, dreaming of conquering other worlds. Suddenly, Brandon and his friends burst in. They fight off her personal guards. In the chaos, Brandon manages to knock the sword from the Queen's hand and grab it. The Queen pauses. She changes her tactic. She uses her dark magic to try and manipulate Brandon. She speaks sweetly, promising that if he gives her the sword, she will use her magic to send him home to his mother instantly. Brandon looks at her. He remembers his friends and the suffering kingdom. He looks the Queen in the eye and refuses. He turns and throws the sword to Prince Arthur. The snake advisor lunges to intercept the sword, but the holy magic of the blade destroys him instantly. Arthur catches the sword. Queen Avelia, realizing she has lost, and disappointed, the magic of the sword reacts with her evil nature. She sits on her throne as a magical whirlwind consumes her. She fades away, destroyed by her own greed. With the Queen gone, the dark clouds over Storyland lift. The kingdom is restored to its former beauty. Prince Arthur takes the throne as the rightful king. True to the promise, King Arthur uses the sword to reopen the magical door. It is time for Brandon to go home. Brandon steps through the portal and finds himself back in the dusty attic. He runs downstairs to find his mother and Uncle Monty. He excitedly tells them about the adventure, about the Queen, the wizard, and the kangaroo, in Storyland. Uncle Monty smiles. He knows the truth about the house, but Brandon's mother sighs. She tells Brandon that it's impossible, that he is just imagining things because he misses his father. Brandon looks at her and says the lesson he learned. Nothing is impossible if you believe. Just then, the doorbell rings. The mother opens the door. Standing there is her husband. He didn't die in the war. He has returned home safely. The cold, sad house is suddenly filled with warmth and love. The magic of belief has fixed their world, just as it fixed Storyland. And that is how the movie ends. Thank you for listening to the story of Storybook. If you enjoyed this magical recap, please like and subscribe for more interesting movies.